Hello, this is Crafternoon, and today what we're going to try and do is make some seed boxes, an origami seed box where we can grow seeds together. So this is one I've made earlier. So if you're starting here, we're going to make this seed box, and what you're going to need, so if everybody, you know, if you're with your carers, or if you're on your own or whatever, or you're just there, you'll need some paper. Now, if you've got some brown paper, that would do, or ordinary paper like this, that would do as well. That's equally good. Or I have a very, which I'm going to show you, pretty piece of paper. Or you can use newspaper, anything like that. The other thing you're going to need, and if you're, if you're young and your parents there, is a pair of scissors. So if you are younger, if you've got carers who can give you a pair of scissors that work for you, just a pair of scissors. And then we've got a few seeds. So that's, you can use, I've got some parsley you can grow, or maybe some flower seeds. And as well, for later, if you want to have some pens for decorating the edge of the seed box, that would be good. So some crayons or felt pens or something like that. So that's what we need to start. Now, before we go ahead, all this is about origami, and it's about paper folding. So there's no cutting and pasting. So the things you make is all from one piece of paper. And once you've got the hang of it, I'll show you at the end, there's a very special thing that I can do. It's almost like magic, and it's a very old practice. So if you see this piece of paper, you'll see there's lots of folds. So the first thing that we're going to do is, if you've got a roll of paper like this, take one edge, and we're going to make a square. So whichever piece of paper you've got, you have to fold it over. I'm going to do this with a piece of A4. But what you want to do is put it on the table and make a fold like this, so that you've got a triangle. So if everybody does that, triangle there. What we're going to do is actually make it meet, to show you this, make it meet the side, so that you're making a square. So that when you cut this bit, you will open it up and you'll have a square. So we'll do that together. Get your scissors. Making sure mine's a good edge. Get your scissors. We're going to cut here. So we've got a square. So whatever piece of paper you're working on, you've got a square. So that's the first thing that everybody has to have. And it can be, as I say, it can be a square of brown paper. This is just an ordinary A4 sheet of tissue paper, or it could be just some card, but it has to be thin card like this. But again, I just show you once more, you're doing this, and you're getting that square. And what you're going to do is just cut along the edge here. So however many boxes you want to keep doing this. You have, if you want 4 boxes, you just need to make 4 of these. So that's the first thing. Now what I'm going to do now is to show you the folds. So if you get the piece at the side of the paper, so what you can start doing if you've got plain paper is you can make decorations. So if we can do this together, you've got your square piece of paper and get some pens, and maybe you want to draw some nice big flowers on here. I'm trying to get it so you can see what I'm doing. Maybe if I can raise it up a bit. Okay, so maybe a nice big flower on the back. So there, so you've got the side that is the outside of the box, and then some little pretty little flowers on the edges. Maybe you want to give a name to your box, make it a pretty name. Maybe you want to make it, you know, call it, are you going to call it Rose? You could call it Rose Box. Or you could decorate it, you know, if you want to make it for, say, for Daddy, you can write for Daddy on it. Or if you just want to make it for yourself, just write it something like my special Crafternoon box. So keep on doing that for a few minutes, is to make it really beautifully decorated, your box that you're going to make. Maybe draw some, you know, think about how the sort of flowers that are going to come out. Maybe use some different colours. So that what you're aiming for is the side of the box that is going to show. And particularly, the bit to keep decorating is to keep a focus on, is to decorate the edge of the box, maybe going into the middle. So just about there. So make some nice, just make lots of patterns all the way across the piece of paper if you've got paper. And if you've managed to get nice paper like this has already got things, but you could maybe add to it. Maybe I'm going to sort of put a nice big J in one of the things there. Maybe I'm going to do another, I'm going to make a little add to the flower pattern here. So whatever you've got, just make it really from your imagination how you'd have your perfect box to be. So we've got that. Once we've got that, I'm going to go through this very slowly. That's the outside of the box. This is the inside of the box. Now ignore all these lines for the moment, because what I want you to do is to get the outside square. And what you're going to do is you're going to lay it pattern up on the table. And you're going to take, it's like you're making a triangle. You're going to take this point and you're going to make a fold right across the middle. So you've got a half, and you're going to crease the fold that way. So you've got a nice, it won't be as big as this, yours, but it's just so that you can see what I'm doing on the Crafternoon. So that's that one. And then open it out, and you're going to do the same the other way up. So exactly the same. Going to fold it that way. So you've got a crease in two ways. You're going to open it up again. Can you see those lines that we've just made there? So you've just made those. So we've got, that's the inside, this is the outside again, but on this inside you've made these two nice big creases. So I just make sure everybody's got to that point, because this is all about the folds. And just for a bit of information that those of you want to learn more about origami, because you might, folds that go over like that are called valley folds, and other ones that go the other way are called mountain folds. So you've got mountains and valleys. So all these things in origami have a name, and the trickiest one that we're going to come on to at the end is called a petal fold, where you're sort of making the inside of a petal. So it's a really beautiful craft that you're learning here, as well as making a seed box. And there are many books and lots of things online that you can go and learn. So I found out about this when I was 6, and I sort of taught myself when I was bored on a family holiday once. So we've got that, we've got our 2 lines there. Then you're going to turn it this way up and put the pattern bit on the table. What you're going to do is you're going to take this edge, and you can see a green line that I've made. You're going to put that into the middle and make a nice sharp line there, like that. And then to turn it round, do the same here. Keep going round. Do the same all the way round. So you've got 4 folds all the way round. So that means you've got folds that make a square. That square is going to be the bottom of your seed box. So just to wait for everyone to do that square. And then once we've done that, got that, it's made like that, you're going to take the edge and you're going to fold it up to the line you've just made, like that. And then you're going to fold it down to the line you've made, like that. Fold it down to the line you've made, like that. Fold it down to the line you've made, like that. So what we've got is all those sort of folds. Now you've got it out again like this. So what you've achieved is a fold like that, like one that goes on, this goes all the way around. You've got a fold like that, and you've also got another fold like that. That's all the way round. So you've got like long little rectangular edges all the way around, but there's 2 sets. Okay. And then what you're going to do is just make sure, put it in the middle again, and you're going to make sure you're going to make in half and make the all sharp. To turn it round, open it up and make in half. These are your sort of guidelines. You're making your own guidelines. So what you've got there is a nice line down the middle there, and a nice down line in the middle. And you've got these, and you've got these, and you've got these. So what you should have now is a piece of paper with lots of creases in it. What we're going to do is make sure that we've got all the guidelines. So what we're going to do is put it down flat. We're going to take this little point here, so it looks like there, and we're going to do that. Then we're going to go round and we're going to do that. So it's all about making lines that will help the box sort of fall together. We keep opening and unopening them, and I've drawn on this, but it's a way, it's a sort of like an invisible map that you're making for yourself. So we've made a whole load of lines like that. And then we're going to, so we've all got that, and then we've all got the lines like that all the way round. So we should be ready to make our box. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to lay it flat, and it does get, I have to say, this is the word, if you want to learn patience, origami is the way to do it. And even though I've been doing it for years and years and years, it can still be a really fiddle, because we're not using any glue, we're not using any staplers. All we're asking is this paper to become, so it's flat, and we're making a three-dimensional thing. We're making something that works from a flat piece of paper, so it's an art. So if I go, oh, I'm struggling, I know it probably will be that you will need a lot of patience when you're doing this. So bear with it. And you know, if it goes wrong, I've just actually spoken to somebody at Crafternoon. This video is recorded, and you can always go back on it and go, how am I supposed to do that? So what you can do is lay it flat, and I'm doing this into my phone, so I'm hoping you can see this. Now what I've done, and what may help you as well, is to get some different coloured pens, and not on the outside, which you've decorated or had decorated, but on the inside, you're going to draw some lines. And on the inner square that you've made, and I'm hoping that I didn't miss this out, maybe I did. We just must make sure we make the inner square. You have to make a fold there. Let's do it again, just in case we didn't do this. A fold there, right into the middle. Turn it round. Fold there, right into the middle. Keep turning it round, so you've done it 4 times. Fold there, right into the middle. And a fold here, right into the middle. And as you're doing it, really make a nice sharp crease. But what we're going to do is to help ourselves. When you get the hang of this, you don't have to keep doing this, but it's always a help if you're beginning. And even if you're not beginning, it helps you go around. Is get a pen. I've got a green pen, and I've drawn around the inside of that square. That square is going to form the bottom of the box, just that square. So when you've all done that, you'll then find the next step is to go back and find that little edge, which is we made it by going to the middle, and then what happens here is that you can go, there's that edge there, you've got your green box, you're folding this line just as another set right the way round. So just doing that again, got that, got that, got that. So that this edge I've made purple, so just to do it again, so that you can follow it, is a purple edge all the way round. And actually, that is, in origami world, actually a mountain fold. If it was going like this way, which it isn't, it would be a valley, but this is a mountain. Okay, so you've done that, and you've got your purple line. And then on the edges, what you should have is like a little square in each corner. Now on this, you should draw some little dotted lines to make the square. So I've used orange, and just do this so you can see more. So that's what you're doing. You're making a little guide for yourself. When you get very, very good at this, you don't need to keep drawing on things. You'll just remember it. it takes perseverance. And I've done it, so if you do it on each corner, the little, making the little dotted lines. I'll come to the red one in a minute. Okay. So if everybody does that, a bit of water. So then, what we've also got, you should have this, the thing that we made when we were going like this, should have a line there. So what we're going to do is make this, we're going to put a red dot there. So this is going to become the trickiest bit that I'm going to ask you to do. So if you master this box, you are quite you really have got very far in origami. But even the doing of it will, even if it isn't perfect, teach you an awful lot. So this is a little red line with a dot. That dot will become important when we're putting the thing together. So on each, so at this to the edge, we're making a red line that comes through and it goes in the middle of this little orange one. So on each corner. So I hope everybody's got that. Right. This is where it starts getting tricky. And if I'm going to try and do it in stages, so it may be, and I've done this sometimes with my own granddaughter, it may be that you get very frustrated and have to start again. So if you were to do that, it's just a question of getting all these folds again and guidelines. So we lay it flat on the table. And then what you're aiming to do now, see where this green line is, and I'm going to try and get up close to the camera so you know, to try and make this as easy to follow as possible. You want to be making, so on the outside it looks like this. You've got your bottom there and there's an edge coming over there, but the bottom is there. So this is the bottom, the green line. So you want that green line. What you're aiming to do is to make the fold so that you've got a little bit of an edge there. Can you see? So it's folding in there. And bear with me because I've never done this on camera before and it's tricky enough when you haven't got a camera. So that is making the fold into the bottom of, and yours will be smaller because I'm using a big piece of paper so you can see. So then what you're going to do is you're going to get this little, this is the tricky bit, and this is where we did all the lines. Can you see the red dot? That you're making what's called a petal fold. You're going to try and push this down and underneath the flap there into the corner. It's quite a tricky operation. And what you've got is you're trying to make on the edge that you can hold it together. So what you've done is you've got, this is a petal. Think of it as a petal. You're making a petal. So I'm going to go very slowly here because this is the nub of the whole seed box. You're making a petal at the edge, and on the outside you've got, you can see the beginning of the box edge. And then you want to bring it neatly to one side. So you're actually, this is where I've done the lines, you're trying to line up a bit the purple line so it's coming across here. Then while you've got hold of this with your thumb and your first finger here, you're going to try and fold that over, and the other side should come with it. So I'm probably going to do that again so that it may be that it didn't work first time round, but you can see you've made a perfect edge, and you've got the bottom of a box, so you should be feeling quite good if you've managed it. But let's just do it again because we've got plenty of time. For those of you who've done it, you can start thinking about how many boxes you would like to make because you've got the hang of it. So it's a bit like learning to drive or anything else with this origami. So you're pointing that, you're getting that edge there, you're finding the little red spot, using all these little bits of folds. You're actually bringing this into, you're bringing this into being a petal, holding that there, the edge, and you're bringing it to the side like that. You've got the edge there, and then what you're doing is you're folding it over, and this side should have come with you. If it hasn't, just keep persevering with me. So you've got a nice edge there, that is your other edge. This is where it gets tricky, because if you've got, you know, it might be quite good to put some scissors or something in, or something, a bit of something to hold, you know, like something against this fold here to keep it in place. But we're going round to the, I'm not going to do that, I'm going to hope that it just stays because I'm trying to show you. So we've got the same thing going on with the next one. So we're pushing this, we're trying to find that red dot, and making this petal. There's the edge. So what we're doing is we're going to get hold that edge like this. So you have to be, the word is dexterous. It asks a lot of you in terms of holding it. So you've got a corner there, and what you're going to do is do the same thing and actually try and get this flappy bit to line up. So you've got a purple line, and then you're going to fold it over. So hopefully at this point you should be getting quite excited because you've got three sides of the box. And this is when sometimes it can get very tricky because it falls apart again when you're trying to do the fourth side. So we've got the same operation going on here where we're trying to turn this to camera. We've got this, and we're trying to get this into so I'm pushing it in, and we're trying to get that petal effect again, pushing it to the side and folding it over. So we've got three sides, and one side, woo, hopefully that is going to stay in shape. So we're going for the same thing. We want to try and push it down. The folds take it, make a petal, push it to the side, see the outside come together, and then, hey presto, we have a box. There's it. I've got a, let's see where we did the decoration. There's there, and it is, I mean, this is quite a large box. Yours may well be smaller, but it's a seed box. So I'm hoping that some of you have managed that. And then what you can do is just to go around and make sure all the edges at the top can sort of crease them down, crease them down, crease them down. And interesting, you know, there's nothing left of the markings. And then I've got I've actually got some compost here in my other little box, which I'm going to fill half of this up with. So I've got a spoon here. So if you just take some of the compost, I'm only going to fill a little bit of this box up, just the corner, to show you what I'm doing. So if you can see, I'm just, if you have some compost, you know, if not, maybe a little bit of soil from the garden probably will work now, it's so warm. So I'm just filling this corner up, because mine's quite a big box, just to show you what I'm doing. So there we go, we've got some compost in the box, and what you'll find is that see, it can be paper's great for this, because you only need really, when it's getting warm like this, these boxes only need to last maybe for a week or so. And then the thing is about it, which is nice, which is, I didn't get a chance to put my website on, but I work in greenware and biodegradable materials, so they will just disappear. You know, if you put it is paper, you can put them on a compost heap or recycle it. So you're not actually, it's not like plastic, and it's just completely sustainable, really. So you've got a bit there of I'm going to just hopefully put this behind, my brown paper behind this, so you can, no, that doesn't work, but balance it there. But what we're going to do is plant some seeds in it. So I love these little ones, but sweet peas are my favourite, I have to say. And then parsley, and I've got some chives. But I think what I'm going to do is take 2 of the sweet peas and just put them in the top of the compost. Set them in there. Now, if you have a windowsill in your house, it's getting quite warm now. The thing to do is make sure that if you've got a little one of those sprays, that you keep this moist, and it's all paper, your box, so if it gets a bit wet, that's fine, don't soak it, but the compost should just stay moist, and hopefully in a week or so what you're going to find is that your seed boxes actually should germinate, and then you can take them out. Now, that's the seed boxes, and I think I've got a bit more time. So what I'm going to show you, this is just with some ordinary paper. How to make a flapping bird. And so this is a bit of an extra, we didn't advertise it, but I will have to say that any adults, even, never mind children, who get a flapping bird, to make it out of a piece of paper like this, just any old piece of paper, people go, wow. So I'm going to do this slowly, and hopefully I'll remember what I'm doing. Okay, so this is a flapping bird to fly around, obviously, the lovely seed boxes that have got lots of flowers in. So again, what you do is this is very big in origami, making a square. So if you've got a rectangle of paper, get it to like that, and then get your scissors And if you've got carers or parents there, make sure that you're not going to hurt yourself with the scissors, but what you're aiming to do is to get a square. So most origami practice, it's all about balance actually, and evenness, which is actually can be very, very therapeutic, because what you've got, and the more closely you watch the detail and the way that you fold, and the more accurate, actually the more exquisite the thing you're making is. So you've got a square. So what we're going to do is just put that on the table, and we've got a line like that. Got a valley. Going to make another, I'm going to do this properly, another valley fold. We're going to turn it that way, and then we're going to put it down, and we're going to do it the other way. That. So you've just got 4 triangles. We're going to do, it's interesting this, to compare it with the box, because it's actually very similar in the sort of start of it. So then you're going to make a rectangle that way. For anybody who is an adult watching this, who has children, who masters this, as I say, when the things are getting difficult and everybody's getting shouty, making a flapping bird usually has the effect of going, I want to do one, can we have some more? So you've got a thing like this. So you've got 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've got diagonals in them. What you're going to do is you're going to make, and I'm going to draw on this again, going to draw, you're going to concentrate on bringing, you've got 4 little squares there. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this at the bottom is there, and you're going to push these in side like that. So you're going to make a sort of shape coming down like that, and you're going to do the same. To use that fold, you're going to squash it in, and you're going to make sure you're nice, close. Have that. So you've got, put your fingers in this and your fingers in this, and it's meeting at the middle here. Have you all got that? Okay. Then what we're going to do, this is another petal situation, and this was the tricky bit. We're going to actually make a petal fold. This is the bit here, is you're pulling it up like this. And you're going to squash your fingers into it like this. So you can see it's squashed into it. And the aim is, what you want to do is to bring this edge, if you put your thumb there, is to bring this edge here and to bring the sides to the middle. So I'll show you one. So if you do that, and then you've pushed it like that, this is, and then what you're going to do is to bring this side down like that. So this is the little bird that's going to fly over. I'm going to go back to the seed boxes in a minute. We've got our bird. That's that. And then you do the other side exactly the same. So isn't exact and it needs to be, this is what you're aiming for. You turn it over, you've got your other triangle here. To do exactly the same, push it out, make these folds, so you're going to bring that there and bring it to the top. So this bird is going to fly over the seed boxes, hopefully help them germinate. And then this tricky thing, you're doing a petal fold, is you're squashing it in and bringing that up. So as I say, what you've got is two little leggy bits here, and these are the wings. This is all from one piece of paper. I'm going to take you outside shortly to see what the origami boxes are built. So then take this end bit here and then just squash it up there, and you'll see there's some sort of head. Just do that, crease it there, and then at the back, to take it, and I mean it may be that this is quite advanced. We're going to make it, and you can cut out a little bird maybe to fly over, if you to fly over your seed box, because the birds are very busy. This is actually making a tail. You squash it out here and make a tail. I'm going to just do this here. You're going to make a little head by squashing it there. And as I say, if you want to do this, having learned the basics, you can go on to when they put it on YouTube and actually go back to watching it and go, oh, that's how it is. And there's lots of, once you've done the folds, there's lots of actually videos and things about origami. And then I'm going to fold his I don't know why it's a he, little neck in, there and there. It's just, I make that, because this is the bird that's going to go over the, and hopefully, if you pinch it there, yes. So let's bring the seed box back in here. So if you start, why I'm showing you this bird is if you start and you've made a seed box and you've mastered some of those folds, all the folds are the same on the flapping bird. So I think what I'm going to do is just go back to the seed box and make sure that everybody is happy. So again, if you remember, it's that size of paper. Start by doing that and that. We then go to taking it to the middle, taking it to the middle, taking it to the middle, taking it to the middle. So once we've got, so if I draw these lines again, it's just a recap. So we've always got the square in the middle, which is going to be the bottom. And as I say, if you do all this and you manage the seed box, it won't be long till you can do a flapping bird. And it's a great way to keep everybody amused. So then, and we've also got in the lines, we've got it's a dark green pen here. We've got another line, or bluey green. And the other line is this one that is the edge. And then get a red pen. We've got the bit that is the dot, just a bit in the corner. So you've got the 4, that's the bit that you're going into, and then the 4 little bits, 4 little squares, which you're trying to get inside the edges. So this becomes the bottom, and then you're aiming to just fold where the green line is, get a really good fold. That's your valley fold, another valley fold over. And this is where it gets tricky. You want to get the bit that you've got here into a little bit of a petal. So you're aiming to do that with it and squashing it in. And you're aiming to get that on the side so that you've got a nice neat edge there. So this is making another small one, and this comes here so that the lines are going the same. What we're going to do is then fold it over. So this can become very therapeutic, because this is box number 2. If you imagine that you're having a challenging day and you go, do you know what, I'm going to make 4 seed boxes, and they're going to be the most lovely plants. So then again we've got this little bit here, and let me I'll draw on this again. There's a red line. If you want to remind yourself, it's always that joins up the red dot, so that you can push. What you want to do is you want to push that in. You're trying to aim to get that in there. Push to the red dot. Get that nice and neat. And then when that's lined up, hold that, fold it over. So you've got a nice neat join on join number 2. So therefore you've got 2 edges of the second seed box that's joining the bigger one. So then we go round the corner, exactly the same operation. Draw yourself some red lines if it's helpful to go down the middle. Red dot. Pushing that down, going to the middle. Making that corner there, trying to get that exact into there. The more precise you can be, the better it looks in the end. So you've got a nice precise corner there. It's an art form doing this in front of a phone. We're all learning new ways, aren't we? Right, then pressing that into the middle there. Got to imagine you all now making origami boxes, thinking about all the beautiful things you're going to grow. So we've got that, and this last one can often be the trickiest, because it wants to open up often. I've got a little tear there on my paper, so we're pushing this down into the middle, and you've not got a line to follow here. It sort of goes in on itself. See, even I'm having a bit of a fiddle here, and I've done hundreds of these things. This needs to go right down. See, let me have a moment with you all where it's not going my way. So I'm pushing this down. It's because there's a tear there. It's going there, but it wants to go inside rather than outside. And now I've got it, and finally it's going to go over. So we have another smaller seed box. So I'm going to spoon in some compost to that. I'm just going to do the corner of it again. So you've got however many of these you want to make. I had, I can't put up because I'm not going to mess with the video, but I had a series of 20 at the end of March, and they were all in different colours. So the vegetable ones I had in orange, the flowery ones I had in blue, and I had all little, I decorated the edges with things, you know, like the words. So the chives all had little pictures of chives and so on. Even though they all biodegraded, it was just a beautiful little thing to do and to watch them grow. And then, as I say, I just put them on the compost seat. So this one, if you just, this one I think is going to have parsley in it. So I just take a few seeds of parsley and just pop those very gently in there. And as I say, you can keep them moist by spraying with one of those sprayers, maybe every other day. And the other thing, when it gets very cold, which I don't think it'll be now, you can always just tuck them into just a little plastic bag overnight if it's somewhere that's very cool, and that keeps the moisture in. But that's really up to the weather now. So there we go. Once you've mastered that, you'll find I did a very, very quick flapping bird to fly over this and obviously go down. It's also, you know, once you've got these, why not make up a story, you know? And also the other thing that origami is really wonderful for, I mean, we've got all these books where we do mindfulness colouring in. But, you know, there's a great thing with these origami things. I mean, you could make, for instance, you can decorate the back of your box, but things like this, you know, have a great time making a decorated bird, different coloured birds. And I think, you know, anybody that's enjoyed this, as I say, there's lots of different tutorials about origami, but I think the thing that they miss often is to do the simple folds and get people to really understand what they are. Once you've got that in your mind, you can go on. And if you have to enjoy it as well, maybe. So as you see, it's a great way maybe to do some decorating. Now, what I'm going to do now is actually, and see if this works, is to take you outside and show you what's happened to some of the seeds that I planted, that I started in the middle of March in these seed boxes, and how they've got on. So you'll have to bear with me while I get my back door key, wander around my house. Gosh, this is different, isn't it? And show you what the what happens when you get when the plant. I think that the planting seeds in these boxes, I think that the seeds quite like the fact that it's biodegradable. So I'm going to show you the results of seeds grown in it's my storeroom studio. Right, going to this, get my outside seed boxes. We've put compost in them. Flapping bird. Oh, I can't go out because because my Wi-Fi doesn't work out there. So I'm not sure whether I can turn around. It won't. No, it's not working. But in that seed bed, yes, it is working. You see that seed, all the seed bed there. You can just see in the corner the sweet peas, and actually coming up that pole, halfway up where the first string, those are all broad beans. So I've managed to show you they started life in the seed box. So there we go. I have managed to show you. and I'm not sure what the time is now. We've had our, because I can always carry on decorating another square, so I'm going to check out how long we have and whether there's anything else that I can do. I think that we're over time, so I'm going to finish it there, and I hope that was all right with everybody. It was very enjoyable. I hope you enjoy your seed boxes.